My shameless half-sister stole my boyfriend right under my nose, and the most disgusting part, my stepfather knew everything and still forced me to smile as her bridesmaid. But on the wedding night, I exposed their dirty little secret in a way they'll never recover from. I'm Victoria, and I guess you could say I've always been the quiet one. At 24, I was working as a librarian in this small Ohio town. Think endless rows of cornfields and one diner everybody crowds into on Sundays. My life was simple. I liked it that way. Shelving books, helping kids find stories, sipping coffee in my tiny apartment. It wasn't glamorous, but it was mine. Then I met Ethan, and everything changed. Ethan was a waiter at that diner, the kind of guy who'd flash a grin and make you feel like you were the only person in the room. Dark hair, a little messy, eyes that crinkled when he laughed. The first time he took my order, I fumbled my words, blushing over my coffee. "You always this nervous, or is it just me?" he teased. I laughed, and that was it. We started talking, then dating. Long walks by the creek, late-night texts, him sneaking me free pie after his shift. For the first time, I felt seen, loved, like I mattered. I'd never had that before. Growing up, it was just me, Mom, and my half-sister Stella. Mom remarried when I was 10, bringing Greg, my stepdad, into the picture. Greg's a financial advisor, all slick suits and loud opinions. Stella's his daughter from his first marriage, 3 years older than me, and let's just say she's always been the star. She's an interior designer, always posting her perfect life on Instagram. Me, I was the shadow. Victoria so dependable, Mom would say, like it was a compliment. Stella got the spotlight. I got used to it. But with Ethan, I felt like I could shine. He'd hold my hand, tell me I was beautiful, promise we'd get out of this town someday. I believed him. Why wouldn't I? He was my first love, my everything. I'd lie awake at night, replaying his words, my heart so full it hurt. Then came the barbecue. Mom and Greg threw one every summer, the kind where neighbors spilled into the backyard, kids ran wild, and Greg ran the grill like he was king. I brought Ethan, nervous but excited to show him off. He fit right in, joking with Greg, charming Mom. Stella was there too, in a sundress that screamed, "Look at me." I noticed her watching Ethan, her smile a little too bright. I brushed it off. She was my sister. Half-sister, sure, but still family. A week later, I saw her name pop up on Ethan's phone. Just a quick text, something about the barbecue. "She's just being friendly," he said when I asked. I nodded, ignoring the knot in my stomach. But it kept happening. Stella asking him for coffee to talk design ideas. Stella laughing too loud at his jokes. Ethan swearing it was nothing. I wanted to believe him. I did. But the knot. One night, I was driving home from the library, late, when I saw Stella's car parked outside Ethan's apartment complex. They were inside, laughing, her hair catching the light through the window. My hands shook on the steering. The next day, I told Greg. I don't know why. Maybe I thought he'd care, thought he'd talk to Stella, set things right. We were in his office, him behind his big desk, me clutching my purse like a lifeline. I spilled it all, my voice cracking. She's too close to Ethan. I saw them. It's not. Greg leaned back, sighing, like I was a kid whining about a broken toy. "Victoria," he said, "Ethan's a good guy. Ambitious, he's going places. Honestly, he's better off with Stella. She's got more going for her. I stood there, my chest tight, like the air had been sucked out of the room. Better off with Stella? My sister? My boyfriend? I wanted to scream, to throw something, to make him see me. But I didn't. I never do. I nodded, mumbled something, and left. In my car, I sat for 20 minutes, staring at nothing. My phone buzzed. Ethan, asking if I was okay. I didn't answer. That was the moment it broke. Not my heart, not yet, but my trust. In Ethan, in Stella, in Greg, in the idea that family's supposed to have your back. I went home, curled up on my couch, and cried until my throat hurt. Why wasn't I enough? Why did it always have to be her? I didn't confront them. I didn't yell or fight or demand answers. I just stopped. Stopped texting Ethan first, stopped inviting Stella over, stopped hoping Greg would ever choose me. I told myself I'd get over it, move on, be the bigger person. But every time I saw them together, her arm brushing his laugh echoing hers, it cut deeper. Like a knife twisting. I kept quiet. Smiled when I had to, worked my shifts, shelved my books, pretended everything was fine. But it wasn't. It was the start of something ugly, something I didn't see coming. And God, I wish I'd done something, anything, before it all fell apart. I kept telling myself it was nothing, just a phase. He'd come back to me, she'd back off. But deep down, I knew better. The knot in my stomach wasn't going away. It grew heavier every day, like a stone I couldn't shake loose. I stopped sleeping, lying awake, staring at my phone, waiting for a text that never came. When did I become this person? This pathetic, clingy mess? He started pulling away first, short replies. Busy tonight, sorry, excuses piled up, late shifts, helping a friend, whatever. I'd see him online, though, liking her posts. Her. Always her. One afternoon, I was grabbing coffee at the diner, hoping to catch him on break. Instead, I saw them through the window, sitting in a booth, her hand on his arm, laughing like they were the only two people in the world. I froze, my coffee burning my hand through the cup. I didn't go in. I just turned around, got in my car, and cried. Hard. The kind of crying where you can't breathe, where your face hurts. Why was this happening? Why wasn't I enough? I should have confronted them, yelled, demanded answers. But I didn't. I went home, curled up, and checked my phone like an idiot. Nothing from him. Just her latest Instagram story, some artsy shot of a sunset captioned, "Feeling on top of the world." I wanted to throw my phone across the room. Instead, I scrolled through our old texts, his sweet words from months ago. "You're my everything." Lies. All of it. Or was it? I didn't know anymore. Then, late one night, my phone lit up. His name. My heart stopped. I opened it, hands shaking. He wrote, "Can we talk? I miss you." I was wrong. It was long, messy, the kind of text you send when you're drunk and guilty. He said he didn't mean to hurt me, that he got caught up with her, that he still loved me. Loved me. Those words hit like a punch. I read it again, and again. My thumb hovered over the reply button. I just sat there, staring, my chest tight. What was I supposed to say? Okay, come back? After everything? I saved the screenshots. Don't know why, maybe I needed proof it was real, that he'd said those things. The next day, I saw him with her at the grocery store, his arm around her waist. She was glowing, tossing her hair, calling him babe. He didn't even glance my way. But to me, it was everything. It was hope, and it was torture. I started noticing more. Little things. Her car at his place more often, matching coffee cups in their stories, a selfie of them at the lake, her head on his shoulder. Every post was a knife. I stopped following her, but I couldn't stop checking. It was like picking a scab. You know it'll hurt, but you do it anyway. I'd sit in my apartment, lights off, scrolling until my eyes burned. Why was I doing this to myself? Why couldn't I just let go? Mom was no help. I tried talking to her one night over dinner at her place, just the two of us, for once. I poured it out how he was slipping away, how she was taking him. I didn't mention the texts, didn't want to seem desperate. Mom sighed, cutting her chicken. "Honey, you're overthinking it. She's just outgoing. And he's a guy. Guys get distracted." Distracted? I wanted to scream. This wasn't a distraction. This was betrayal. But I just nodded, picking at my plate. "Maybe," I said. What was the point? She'd always defend her. I started digging. Quietly, I'd check his posts when I knew he was with her, compared timestamps, found old messages he'd sent me, ones that didn't add up now, like the night he said he was working late but posted a story at a bar. With her. I went back further, piecing it together. He'd been lying for weeks, maybe longer, playing us like we were pieces on a board. I found one text he'd sent me. "Right, you're the only one I want." I laughed, bitter, when I reread it. The only one. Then why was he calling her babe? The worst part? I still loved him. God, I hated myself for it. I'd see him in my head, his smile, his laugh, and my heart would ache. I wanted to hate him. I tried, but love doesn't just vanish even when it's killing you. I'd lie in bed, clutching my phone, rereading his late-night confession. I miss you. Was it true? Did he mean it? Or was I just the backup plan, the safe one he could string along? By then, I was a ghost of myself, barely eating, zoning out at work, misfiling books. A coworker asked if I was okay, and I lied, said I was just tired. Tired didn't cover it. I was breaking. And the worst part? They didn't even notice. She was too busy posting about her perfect life. He was too busy chasing her. And me? I was alone, holding on to secrets I didn't know what to do with. I kept those screenshots, though, locked them in a folder on my phone. I didn't have a plan, not yet, but something in me shifted. I wasn't just hurt anymore. I was angry. Angry at him for lying, at her for stealing, at myself for letting it happen. I didn't know what I'd do with that anger. But it was there, burning, waiting. Time doesn't heal like they say, it just numbs you, makes the pain a dull ache instead of a sharp stab. By the time the wedding rolled around, I'd gotten good at faking it, smiling when I had to, nodding along. But inside, I was a mess, carrying those screenshots like a bomb I didn't know how to detonate. Why was I even here? Why did I agree to be a bridesmaid? The banquet hall was gaudy, gold tablecloths, fake flowers, a DJ blasting songs nobody danced to. I stood in my itchy dress, clutching a glass of cheap wine, watching her twirl in her white gown. She was radiant, all smiles and confidence, like she'd won. And him? He stood beside her, grinning like he hadn't torn me apart. I kept my head down, avoiding their eyes, but every laugh, every clink of glasses felt like a slap. How could they do this? How could they stand there so happy while I was drowning? I'd spent months, years really, trying to move on. Told myself I was over it, but seeing them together, her hand on his arm, his lips brushing her cheek, brought it all back. The texts, the lies, the way he'd begged for me one night, then chosen her the next. I gripped my glass tighter, my knuckles white. I wanted to scream, to throw something, to make them see me. The rehearsal dinner the night before had been worse. Too many people, too much noise. I'd been stuck at a table with cousins I barely knew, forcing small talk while she preened and he played the perfect groom. Then he found me, later, by the bar. I was grabbing water, trying to breathe, when he leaned in, his breath sour with whiskey. "Vic," he slurred, "you look good. Been a while, huh?" Was he serious? After everything? I should have walked away, should have ignored him. But I didn't. "Why?" I asked, my voice low, shaking. "Why her? Why not me?" It spilled out before I could stop it, raw and desperate. He blinked, like he hadn't expected me to care. Then he laughed, and shrugged. "Come on, Vic, it was always her. You knew that." My chest caved in. Always her. Was I nothing? Just a placeholder until she snapped her fingers? I wanted to hit him, to scream that he'd begged me to take him back, that he'd called her a mistake, but before I could, my stepdad's voice cut through. "Victoria." He was behind me, arms crossed, his face hard. "Grow up. Go sit down." I didn't sit. I walked out, straight to the parking lot, my heels clicking on the pavement. The air was cold, sharp, but I barely felt it. I leaned against my car, gasping, tears streaming down my face. Why didn't they care? Why was I always the one left behind? I hated them, him for his lies, her for her smugness, my stepdad for choosing her every time. But I hated myself more, for staying quiet, for letting them walk all over me. Back inside, I pasted on a smile, played my part, but something broke. Not my heart, that was long gone, my patience, my fear. I was done being invisible, done swallowing their poison. When he passed me later, muttering another half-assed apology, I looked him dead in the eye. "I still have your texts," I whispered. His face went pale, just for a second. before he brushed it off with a nervous laugh. "What texts?" he said, too loud, like he was convincing himself. I didn't answer, just walked away, my pulse racing. The wedding day dragged on. I stood through photos, her arm linked with mine, her perfume choking me. "You're such a good sister," she said, all syrupy, like we were best friends. I nodded, my jaw tight. Good sister. Sure, I watched her dance with him, watched everyone toast their perfect love, and felt something harden inside me. They thought they'd won, thought I'd just fade away, like always. That night I went home and collapsed on my couch, still in my dress, mascara smudged. I pulled out my phone, opened those screenshots. His words glowed in the dark. "I miss you." I was wrong. I read them over and over, my chest heaving. I wasn't crying anymore. I was shaking. Angry, alive, awake. They thought they could bury me? They thought I'd just take... I didn't know what I'd do with those texts. Not yet, but I knew I wasn't letting this go, not this time. I'd spent years shrinking, apologizing, stepping aside, for her, for him, for my stepdad, for everyone. But standing in that parking lot, hearing his laugh, my stepdad's sneer, I realized something. I wasn't the problem. They were. I locked my phone, set it down, and stared at the ceiling. My heart was still pounding, but it wasn't fear anymore. It was fire. I didn't want to just survive this. I wanted them to feel it, feel me. For once, what was I going to do? I didn't know. But I was done being their doormat, done letting them write my story. I woke up the morning of the wedding with a strange calm. No tears, no shaking, just clarity. Like a fog had lifted. I'd spent years swallowing their lies, their dismissals, their smirks. Not today. Today I'd make them see me. I didn't want to scream or cry or beg. I wanted control. I wanted them to feel the weight of what they'd done. I got dressed like it was any other day, brushed my hair, pinned it up, slipped into that stiff bridesmaid dress. My phone sat on the counter, those screenshots locked inside, waiting. I'd stared at them all night, his words burned into my brain. "I miss you." I was wrong. He'd meant it when he'd typed it, drunk and sloppy. But it didn't matter. He'd chosen her. They'd both chosen to bury me. Now, it was my turn to choose. At the venue, I played my part, smiled for the photographer, held her bouquet when she fixed her veil. "You're a lifesaver," she said, all bubbly like we were sisters in a movie. I nodded, my lips tight. Lifesaver. Right. Nobody noticed how quiet I was. Nobody ever did. That used to hurt. Now it was my advantage. The ceremony was a blur. Vows, rings, applause. I stood off to the side, my hands clasped, watching them kiss like they'd invented love. Guests dabbed their eyes. I didn't. My mind was elsewhere, piecing together my plan. I'd been thinking about it since that night in the parking lot, when his laugh and my stepdad's sneer lit something in me. No big scenes, no shouting matches, just truth, sharp and cold, delivered where it had hurt most. I waited until the reception. The hall was loud, clinking glasses, bad pop music, kids running between tables. She was glowing, flitting from guest to guest. He was looser now, tie undone, laughing too loud. I moved through the crowd, invisible as always, my phone heavy in my purse. My fingers hovered over the screen. Was I really doing this? Could I live with it? Yes, I could. I attached the screenshots, every text, every timestamp, his pleading words laid bare. I messed up. I still love you. She's not you. I added one line. Thought you should know who you're marrying. Simple, no venom, just fact. I typed her email address, the one she used for work, and hit send. My heart thudded, but my hands were steady. I slipped my phone away and rejoined the party, grabbing a drink to blend in. Minutes passed, 10, 15. Then I saw her, across the room, checking her phone. Her smile froze, her eyes darted, scanning the crowd, then landed on him. He was at the bar, joking with some cousin. She marched over, her face pale, and shoved her phone in his face. I couldn't hear. Her hands were shaking. His mouth opened, closed, opened again. He grabbed her arm, pulling her toward a corner, but she yanked free, her voice rising. Guests started to notice. Heads turned, whispers spread. "What's going on?" someone muttered. I sipped my drink, my pulse racing, but my face blank. He was stammering now, gesturing wildly, trying to explain. She wasn't having it. Her eyes were wet, her mascara smudging. She shouted something, sharp cutting, and stormed off, leaving him standing there, red-faced, alone. People leaned in, gossiping. "Trouble already?" A woman nearby chuckled. I didn't stay to watch the rest. I set my glass down, grabbed my purse, and slipped out a side door. The night air hit me, cool and crisp, and I exhaled, long and slow. My hands trembled now, adrenaline fading. I'd done it. I'd pulled the pin and walked away. Part of me wanted to laugh, wild, reckless laughter. Part of me wanted to cry. Had I gone too far? No, they'd gone too far. I drove home, windows down, the radio off. My phone stayed silent, no texts, no calls. Good. I didn't want to hear from anyone. Not her, not him, not my stepdad. I pictured her reading those texts, seeing his betrayal in black and white. I pictured him scrambling, lying, failing. Did it fix anything? No. Did it make me whole? Not even close, but it was something. It was mine. By the time I got home, I was numb. I kicked off my heels, sank onto the couch, and stared at the ceiling. I didn't check my phone. Didn't need to. I knew what was happening. Her tearing into him, him spinning excuses, their perfect day cracking like cheap glass. I'd heard whispers about their fights before, little cracks in their storybook romance. This would be bigger, messier. It wasn't proud, not really. It wasn't about pride, it was about balance. They'd taken everything, my trust, my love, my voice. I'd given them something back, a truth they couldn't dodge. I closed my eyes, my breath steadying. For the first time in years, I felt solid, not happy, not healed, just here, like I'd finally stopped running. What came next? I didn't know. Maybe she'd hate me. Maybe he'd try to spin it. Maybe my stepdad would call, barking about family loyalty. Let them. I was done bending, done breaking. I'd lit the match. Now I'd watch it burn. The days after the wedding were quiet, too quiet. I kept waiting for the fallout, angry calls, texts, someone pounding on my door. Nothing came, not at first. I went to work, shelved books, smiled at patrons like nothing had happened, but inside I was holding my breath, braced for the storm. Had they figured out it was me? Did they care? I didn't know. I didn't check. I'd turned my phone off that night and left it that way for days. Maybe I was scared. Maybe I just wanted peace. A week later, I heard through a coworker they'd split. Not officially, not yet, but she'd moved out, back to her dad's place. He was crashing with a friend, dodging questions. Their big, shiny love story, crumbling. I didn't smile when I heard. Didn't feel the rush I'd expected, just a hollow nod, like I'd known it was coming. I'd lit the match, sure, but they'd built the fire themselves. All I did was show her the truth. What she did with it wasn't on me. She called eventually. I saw her number flash on my screen one night, weeks later. My thumb hovered, but I let it go to voicemail. She left a message, sobbing, her voice raw. Why didn't you tell me? Like I owed her answers, like I was the one who'd lied. I deleted it without listening to the rest. I'd cried enough for both of us. My stepdad was next. He showed up at my apartment one Sunday, unannounced, his face tight. I let him in, not because I wanted to, but because I was tired of running. He stood in my living room, arms crossed, preaching about family. "We stick together," he said, like it was a rule I'd broken. "You're tearing us apart." I laughed, a sharp, bitter sound that made him flinch. Tearing them apart? I didn't argue, didn't explain, just looked at him, steady, until he stopped talking. "I'm done," I said. 2 words, quiet, but final. He left without another word. I started thinking about leaving after that, not just them, but everything, the library, the town, the weight of it all. I'd stayed too long, tied to people who didn't see me. I applied for jobs out of state late at night when I couldn't sleep. One came through, a researcher position in Chicago, not glamorous but steady, a fresh start. I took it without hesitating, packed my life into boxes, sold my couch, said goodbye to nobody. The day I left, I drove past the diner, the creek, her old office. Didn't stop, just kept going. Chicago was loud, overwhelming, nothing like home. My apartment was tiny, the walls thin, but it was mine. I started work, learned the city's rhythm, bought coffee from a corner shop that didn't know my name. Nights were harder. I'd sit by my window, city lights blurring, and think about them. Him with his easy lies, her with her smug dismoils. Hate takes energy, and I was spent. But I didn't forgive them either. Not yet. Maybe not ever. I started writing it down, everything, the barbecue, the texts, the wedding, that email. This story. Not for them. Not for anyone else. For me. To make sense of it. To let it go. I'd scroll through my notes, reliving the hurt, the anger, the moment I took back my voice. It wasn't pretty. I wasn't proud of all of it. Sending that email, it felt right then. But now I wondered, did it change anything? Did it fix me? No, but it reminded me I could fight. That I wasn't nothing. I deleted his number one night, months after I'd moved. It was small, just a tap on my phone, but it felt big, like cutting a chain. I didn't need to carry him anymore. Didn't need to carry her, or my stepdad, or the years I'd spent shrinking. I was still figuring out who I was without them. Some days I liked her, this new me. She was tougher, quieter, a little scarred. Other days I missed the girl I'd been, the one who believed she was gone, but I was here. That had to be enough. I don't know what happened to them. Don't check their posts, don't ask around. Maybe they're fighting, maybe they're fine. Maybe my stepdad's still preaching loyalty to anyone who will listen. It's not my story anymore. I've got my own work deadlines, new coworkers, a city that doesn't know my past. I'm not healed, not whole, but I'm free. Free to mess up, to try again, to be more than their shadow. I think about love sometimes. Wonder if I'll trust it again. I want to. Not the desperate kind, not the kind that blinds you. Something real, steady. Mine. For now, I'm okay alone. I lock my door at night, double-check the bolts. But it's not fear, it's habit. A reminder I'm safe. Not from them. From me. From the version of me that let them win. If I could go back, would I change it? The email, the silence, the years I stayed quiet? I don't know. I did what I did. They did what they did. We're all carrying our choices. Mine led me here. New city, new life, new scars. I'm still learning what that means, but I'm learning, and for the first time, that feels like enough. If this hit close to home, hit subscribe, drop a comment, and let's talk. I'm here, and I listen.